Why, you ask? Well, I'm not sure why, but according to the golden ratio of beauty phi, which defines beauty according to classic Greek calculations, Beyonce came in with a score of 92.44, while Bella Hadid of the Hadid sisters came in with a 94.35. Now, measurements of facial proportions are taken, and Greek scholars applied standards with scientific formula to come up with this ratio. So basically, my understanding is the way that this works is it has nothing to do with complexion or hair color. It has everything to do with the features on your face and your face by and large, measurement of your face, and is there perfect symmetry between one side of your face versus the other side. Also, are the measurements of your features on your face, there's like specific measurements. Do they work? Is it too small or too big? Blah, da, 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 da. Now, do y'all agree with this? Do y'all agree that Bella is more beautiful than Beyonce? The girls are going to come for me, but I think that this is y'all fault, but I think that actually, here's what I think. I think that Bella has a more unique look than Beyonce. Now, for all of you girls that follow the Hadid sisters, it has been rumored and or alleged that Bella actually may have had some work done to her face, to her nose specifically. I don't know that to be true, but what I do know is she definitely has a more unique look than Beyonce. I think that you girls started to, produce Beyonce-isms all across the place. So I remember there was a moment where Beyonce's look seemed more unique, if that makes any sense. Like, you weren't going to walk down the street and see a bunch of Beyoncés. You know what I mean? And I think that now it's really common. And I think that a lot of that may be attributed to things that you can change about yourself, like hair color or getting a tan or bleaching your skin or whatever the girls do. But I think that Bella's look is not something that like the girls can just go out there and do without seeing Dr. Miami for the work. You know what I mean? Not that I necessarily feel that Bella is more beautiful than Beyonce. I do feel that Bella has a more distinct look than Beyonce. All right, so don't come for me, okay? Last but not least, before we set the table. So this week, another person calling us out our name. Well, I say us because we're going to talk about once and for all the usage of the word nigga, and we're going to put this shit to bed. All right. So this week, several stories came up, but of note, the actress Gina Rodriguez was seen in her Insta story singing the words to Ooh La La, Fuji's Ooh La La. And in the clip, she is rapping and the word nigga comes up and she says it with, ease. So then she delivers this kind of bullshit apology. Then she delivers the apology reboot, right? Where she kind of says like in a more of a statement, because the original apology that she gave was a video apology where she was kind of like basically one of those shit apologies where someone apologizes to you for you feeling the way that you feel. I'm sorry that you feel like that. You know what I mean? I was just singing a song. All right, cool. And then she issued another apology where she said, listen, I grew up, I ba-da-da-da-da. Now, this is not the first time that Gina Rodriguez has gotten into some hot water, over comments regarding race. And I'm sure that this will probably not be the last time that something like this happens. Of other note worth this week, we got a little bit more of the story involving basketball wives Evelyn Lozada and OG. I don't know her last name, so please forgive me, but more of their interaction and kind of coming down to the base of OG saying that she felt like it was racist for Evelyn to use the word nigga and, what have you. Fast forward now, also in the news this week, and I'm sorry, please forgive me because at the time that I saw this story, I did not get an opportunity to jot it down, but this happened in Florida. A Latina woman who I believe she works in the community as a community advisor or something to that effect, was seen on a video clip at a bar. And the bartender was African American. And she is seen in the clip. The bartender basically has to cut her off, I think, in terms of how many drinks she had, what have you. And it is not his rule. It was basically the law that he needed to cut her off. She goes into a rant where she basically calls him a nigga and says that black people are the lowest form of life, before she is escorted out by the bar manager for her rude, and she basically made a scene, rude and disruptive behavior. So why do I bring all of these stories to you? I bring these stories to you this week, team, because I want to have a moment of mindfulness. I then came upon my own personal situation where, I heard someone, I was out at an event and I heard someone, say the word nigga. And, in the moment, of course, I'm not jarred. However, especially because in the context that the person was saying it in, they were kind of more like, there are a lot of times where even not even talking about black people, will refer to people that I'm talking about as nigga. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, these two white niggas, or, them Spanish niggas over there, or whatever the case is, because we all have our moments of disgusting, just mindlessness speech, excuse me. Exactly. And in my mind, I thought it prudent to use this platform to just explain a few things. Number one, I don't care if you were raised by the baddest gaggle of gays that ever exist. If you yourself are not gay, I do not believe that you have the right to throw out the words, the derogatory term, faggot or dyke, just because you're down with that crew. Right? So, let me get this right, because the explanation that I hear a lot from people of Latino or Hispanic descent, or people who were raised around African Americans, or people who have been given some sort of black card saying that it is okay for you to use the word nigga. The excuse that I often hear is that, I'm down. I understand. I was in the struggle with you, so I should get to use the word too. I think that even if I were raised by a gaggle of gays, that doesn't give me the right to tote around the words. You get what I'm saying? Because even though in my immediate social circle, and I can't tell you what to do in your immediate social circle, the only thing I can tell you is that for me, at least, I think that it is prudent for you to, and really this is more advantageous for you to take this advice. You being anyone who is listening, who thinks that it is okay. I think that if you're mindful, you always want to consider your surroundings. If you are surrounded by people who know you, who feel like it is okay for you to use that term and you use the term, it is fine. But practice becomes perfect. And so you may find yourself in a moment where you are not just around the people that know you. And you use the word faggot, or you use the word dyke, or you use the word spick, or you use the word nigga. And unfortunately, you now create a hostile environment for someone else. They don't know you. They don't know you. You don't know them. So you don't know that the pain that may be associated with that vernacular with them. I think that people oftentimes egoically approach things, and so they look at it from the standpoint of, hey, well, it's all right with me because, it should be all right with me because it's for me. It's me, 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 me. But understand that the use of such terminology around certain people, around people sometimes, it's not just about you. When you let that word loose, that word carries an energy. If someone is around you and you may be, listen, you may be in a social situation where, and I've been in this kind of social situation where I've been around, a bunch of gay people, both lesbian and homosexual men, all at once. And you may hear somebody call another person faggot, right? Two gay men calling each other faggot, right? And in that moment, it may catch you off guard because you're like, yo, ooh, whoa. But it'll only catch me off guard because I don't get the allowance to use that name. I don't get the right. And even sometimes to hear it is jarring because I know the stigma associated with it. And sometimes I think that I'm not even cognizant of the fact that when I use the word nigga, that I may be saying it around someone who was once called a nigga and didn't have a pleasant experience. The songs and the culture dictate that should just be part of our everyday vernacular. But realize something, that is probably one of the only derogatory terms that we use in everyday common culture. Just like, and specifically a term that is so closely associated to the race, to an entire species of people. Outside of the word bitch. Right? Although you at least can say with bitch that you are liken it to an animal, which really is no better. But think about that. We don't go around using the term spick. We don't go around saying the word kike. We don't go around saying the term chink. We don't. And even if we did, I don't necessarily know that we should feel comfortable in it. Just keep in mind that, when you are not part of a specific marginalized group, that I think that you don't get to carry with you what you feel are the advantageous parts of that marginalized group, but then not join in on the parts that are not so fun. You feel me? So if the only time I care about the homosexual community or the LGBTQIA community is when I want to Vogue or when I want to get my hair done or whatever, then just know you're not an ally. If the only time you care about black people is when you are talking about niggas that you want to fuck or music that you listen to or the dope hot lingo or what's new now next, bitch, if that's the only time that you associate yourself with the advantageous parts of being black, then baby, you not being no ally, honey. And yeah, you could have been raised around all the black people in the whole generation. And let me tell you something else. No one person in any marginalized group can give another person the right who is not part of that group to use any terms towards that group. Does that make sense? So just because I'm black, I cannot give somebody the permission to say the word nigga. I don't, who the fuck am I? Who the fuck are you? We don't have that right. So like, I don't care that Jay-Z